Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So, I know you guys like your drive-bys with the bikes, so I'm giving you a proper and optimized bunny build for drive-bying on the bikes. Let's get right on into it. So straight off the bat, with drive-by bunny, we are still going with electric condense, because we are going to still use this to occasionally nuke the bosses, or nuke elites, or nuke dungeon bosses, or final dungeon bosses, so on and so forth. So electric condense is still going to be our red module. Now, mid-air maneuvering is going to be our next module, just because, you know, we want to occasionally do a little bit of this. However, this is where the build becomes very, very different. Now, because we are already going with this sort of a setup, we need to build this in a way where you don't want to get off the bike at all, but you also want as much damage as you can get. So let's start off with range. So for range, oh god, excellent game. For range, let's start off with this. We go with expansion and amplification control. You want to make sure that your AoE circle is basically hitting everything, and from there, that's basically all you are actually going to want. Now let's focus on damage. For damage, I would first go with the amplification modules, because you don't want to be getting off the bike to cast crit attacks. We are going with, cast fusion for crit with the blue beetle. So we are going with a non-crit build in this instance with bunny. Now, for raw max damage, we are going with skill simplification as well as singular master. So this is going to give you the most just raw dog unspeakable levels of damage with bunny. This is because we just want as much damage as we can get, because we're just going to be running around on our bikes basically. So yeah, this is going to be pretty much what you're going to want. And then to finish it off, we'll go with electric Synctium, just for a final touch of damage over there. So there you go. For damage, this is what we're going with. Now, because we're not going with any cooldown on this build, what we are going to go with instead is a ton of duration. For duration, we're going to go with extension. We're also going to go with battle of stamina, and we are also going with MP accelerant. Now, the MP doesn't matter. We mostly care about the duration for this. Now, I know some people are probably wondering, well, why are we going with such a stupid or weird setup? Why no cooldown? If you look over here, you can see we still have more duration than cooldown by about 3 seconds. So once your ability is up, you'll have more than enough time to react to a cast. But the reason we are doing that is because, well, if we look on the bike, there's only 2 options. It's Arcade Leak, which we don't want to be using, and it's Gapping Time. Gapping Time is going to be the trigger mod that we want to use. With this, depending on how much cooldown you have, with from base to 100, and it takes away from your cooldown skill, which in this instance we have 0 cooldown. It says cooldown reduction, we don't have any reduction, so this is basically just 35% straight up extra damage. Now, in my other video, I did mention in my purge video that used Gapping Time, because I misunderstood the meaning. Basically just change that to Power Beyond if you are still watching, and from that old build, or not old build, but other build, this is what you are going to want to be using Gapping Time for. So just raw damage, raw duration on range on this build is going to be everything you need. Now, the reactor. For the reactor with this build, you just want to go with any mounting. I've gone with hand cannon because I do like running hand cannons with bunny. So for my actual weapon here, I'm going with the Peacemaker. Ideally, you just want a Peacemaker that has 1 sprint speed and 1 grapple on it. The rest of the stats don't really matter. I've built this Peacemaker for something else, so we'll come back to that shortly. You want electric and singular in the middle, and then electric and singular at the bottom as well. This is because, again, it's just nothing but raw undisputable damage with bunny. So this is what we are going to be going with again. On top of it, for our external components, for raw damage with absolutely 0 drawbacks, Slayer set again. We're just going with damage, and damage. For your substats on here, max HP is important, I guess. MP recovery out of combat, it doesn't really even matter because you don't use any MP with this build regardless. So if you go with literally any stat rolls, you'd be completely fine. But ideally, you do want HP, recovery out of combat, MP, MP recovery in combat, MP recovery modifier, and then resistance is fine, like defense or electric, and then shield recovery modifier or toxin resistance. For your actual stats on here, max HP and defense for all of them. Heavy on the defense though, because you know you want to be taking as little damage as possible. And yeah, that's basically what you're going to want for Bunny's external components. Now for the arcade tuning tree. The tree is going to be a little bit of a funky one, so make sure to keep up. So with this, we're going to go down, and we're going to go here, and we're going to go all the way up to this mutant cell over here, and this mutant cell is going to be electric cohesion. This is going to give us damage for our third ability, which is going to be exactly, you know, what we want. Damage for our third ability is the priority here. Next up, from here we are going to go down, and we're going to go all the way down to arcade efficiency enhancement. Again, this is just for damage on the actual third ability, which is what we care about. Then to finish it off, we're going to pop 4 nodes over here, and boom, enhance skill power from this one over here as well. This is going to help you out, and then just to finish it off, a tiny touch of skill power there as well. So you can tell this build is going to be pretty strong for the most part. Now let's talk about the weapons. Like I said, the Peacemaker, it really doesn't matter. You don't even need a sprint core, you don't even need anything on this weapon. But if you do want to run what I've run on my Peacemaker, this specific Peacemaker is a stat stick style of Peacemaker. You can run this if you want more damage. If you do intend on using the weapon, just change this element to whichever element you want. But if not, just a raw stat stick is this one over here. In this instance, I'll just keep it on this, even though I'm not really going to be using the weapon. You could put other weapons on if you do want to, you know, use them for damage. What I would recommend would be like a Greg's or a Malevolent, for example. Here's a quick look at my Greg's Reverse Fate if you are interested in building this weapon. So just this over here for your substats and for your cores, and then this for the actual build on the Greg's. Then for the Malevolent, this is what I've got on my substats for the Malevolent and my cores, and then this is what I would use for my Malevolent. Just replace these 3 with any elemental thing you want, and you're basically good to go. In this instance, I won't be using either of them, so they're going to get thrown off the build. Now, inversions. Inversions are, well, fairly simple. For this, skill cost doesn't even matter. Cooldown, we do not want this one because of that gap in time, remember? So honestly, you can just go with anything, because for the most part, it really doesn't matter. Max HP is completely fine. The ever so tiny bit of duration over here, if you really want it, sure. And Neurostim doesn't matter. Like, all these inversions don't matter. You can literally slap anything on. Let's just slap Neurostim on, because, you know, there's no point of running anything else. Now, this is the important setup. The bike with Bunny. For the bike, you are going to be using the Orca. The reason we are using the Orca instead of the Vortex is because, well, the Orca can handle turns significantly better, which in this instance is actually very important. Because when you're turning and driving and stuff like that, you want to make sure that you are going at a fast speed, but you're able to actually turn. On top of that, for my substats on the bike, I've got max speed, boost gauge recovery amount, max speed on boost as well. I would recommend getting like a turning power or something like that as well. Just speed stats and turning stats is all you want on here. Acceleration would be nice too, but you don't need to go crazy with this, is the main thing I would say. Yeah, that's essentially what you want, and you want to make sure you're using the Orca as well. So now let's get on into some Sigma sector gameplay. So if you're going to drive by somewhere, it's most likely going to need to be Sigma. So let's run a ISO desert right now. We'll run a private ISO desert, and I'll just show you how this build absolutely melts. Now, if you want to run this with friends and stuff like that, do it. If you want to run it in public, be careful. I don't want people to get reported or get hated because they are just using nothing but Bunny with a bike. So use at your own risk, I guess. Just make sure you're careful enough not to get a ton of hate, guys, please. I don't want to be spreading any negativity in this game. Alright, so you basically just run, activate your third ability, and then you just hop onto the bike. So with this, you can see here, you just basically drive around, and for the most part, you'll 1 to 2 shot all of the mobs. And yeah, I literally got the worst tile set possible for my bunny right now. But even with this, you can see here, you jump off, and then you'd do this, pull up to this, and you can just basically jump around here, shoot this down with the peacemaker, stuff like that. If you are, you know, not stupid like me and you don't waste your electric condensers, you'd have a lot easier of a time doing that. But I messed up my timing there. So with this, once you stop lagging everywhere, you can just casually drive through everywhere. It's nice and fun. Even the elites, 2-3 seconds on here on the dead, 2 rollbacks, and they're gone. You can just, you know, casually drive around with Bunny, man. It's a drive-by build. I can't keep it together, man. My composure is cracked when it comes to this, because it's, oh crap. Wait, hold up, I'm actually cracked. I'm cracked. Then you can just jump off and electric condense anything that gets in your way. You know, if there's anything annoying in your way, you can just jump off and condense it. That's basically it. Then, yeah, make sure to use your bikes, your turns. Make sure to not hit walls. Yeah. Cracked. It's fun, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I would use this. It's so fun. Like, I wouldn't advise loads of people to use it, because if you run into a pub with 4 of these, it's going to be mayhem. But it'd be funny mayhem, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I was to run this in pubs, I'd probably get hated on. But if you want a proper optimized version of this build, you've absolutely got it right here. This is what you would absolutely want to be running. It's definitely an interesting setup, and I'm actually having a ton of fun with this. I've been using this in public with like 2 of my friends, so like, you know, the odd one player is a pub, but it is actually kind of cracked. If you're using this to speedrun, it's definitely not the most optimized, but if you learn your timings and everything, you can easily become a million times better at it. But actual optimized bunny drive-by build. I hope you've enjoyed. That's basically everything from me, and yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Smash that like button. If you want to see a Freyna build or a Viesa drive-by build, let me know in the comments, and we'll see about that. We'll see about that. But bunny drive-by build was the one I actually wanted to make. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.